grow jobs, limit government spending, and tackle entitlements. We need to encourage the dreamers and innovators, the small business owners, the hard workers, the brave men and women throughout this country's history that have asked for nothing more than the freedom to work hard and get ahead without government getting in the way. For the last 8 years, that's just what I did here in Minnesota.
Hello Drolonites, this is Jack Leo Drolo with your wake-up call. This episode reveals Tim Pawlenty's nasty healthcare cuts to the disabled while he was governor of Minnesota, and why he should not run for president. To help me make my point, I'm going to use his campaign ads. Here's his second ad.
It's time to win the future.
I've got a question for you. How can America win the future when we're losing the president?
You got people and families out here in the United States that are struggling.
Washington has given up on the jobs.
It's staggering.
Can't pay their mortgage.
Home sales a record low.
Now, in order for America to take a new direction, it's going to take a new president.
T-Paw thinks that he's going to fix the budget by doing what T-Paw did here in Minnesota. First off, he didn't fix Minnesota's budget. He only made it worse. T-Paw slashed the health care programs so that the disabled people lost time with personal care attendants, which resulted in some people going to group and nursing homes, costing the state of Minnesota tens of thousands of dollars more, and keeping disabled people in their home where they lived. The director of this show even wrote 2 letters to T-Paw when he was governor, basically trying to get him to stop taking away personal care attendant, also known as PCA, funding from disabled people who rely on PCAs to help them with activities in their homes. But T-Paw did not reply. I love how T-Paw tries to transform himself, along with his views, to fit the views of the people living in each state that he campaigns in. Here's an example of that. If you like this clip, please visit the link in the description down below.
Last week, St. Paul architect Mike Sapina was getting his daughter ready for school when he heard this on NPR News.
We had the first and only government shutdown in the 150-year history of my state on my watch.
Sapina couldn't believe what he was hearing.
And I thought, wait, is that Pawlenty? And then someone did identify him as Pawlenty, and I didn't understand where the accent came from because he sounded like he was from Arkansas.
I unallotted nearly $3 billion out of the budget by myself, which I think is more unallotments than all of the other governors in the history of the state combined, previous to my time as governor.
NPR News asked a few people at Pro Pharmacy in downtown South St. Paul to listen to part of Pawlenty's Iowa speech. All but one had no idea it was their city's native son speaking. Lois and Bob Simon sure didn't.
He didn't even talk like that when he was governor.
A Washington Post writer also picked up on Pawlenty's accent, asked about it after a speech last week in New Hampshire. You weren't trying to project some kind of folksy thing?
No, and anybody who actually follows me closely or has looked at these speeches over the years know that from time to time I do that, and it wasn't, some sort of strategic decision for that group. I've done it in Minnesota, I've done it in other places, and so it's not some new phenomena.
So if you don't want this country to be rent into the ground even more, then don't vote for Tim Pawlenty in 2012, because that is what he will do if he becomes president. In fact, vote independent all the way down the ticket and show the Republicans and Democrats that we're sick of their bullshit. This has been Jack Leo Drolo with your wake-up call. Thanks for watching.